Welcome back to the frequency that feeds your mind and unsettles your soul. You are locked into The Real Review here on Damn Good Radio. I am your host, your guide through the celluloid graveyards and the silver screen heavens, Warbucks. Tonight, we are wading through the muddy, blood-soaked waters of a franchise that has, perhaps, stayed at the party a little too long. We are dissecting, with surgical precision, the grand finale of a trilogy that nobody really asked for, but we received nonetheless. The movie we are diving into today is The Strangers Chapter 3, released in the year of our Lord, 2026. Before we even think about cutting into this carcass, we have to acknowledge the chef. This trilogy, chapters 1, 2, and 3, was an ambitious undertaking, a cinematic gauntlet thrown down by director Renny Harlin. Harlin is a man who knows action. He gave us the adrenaline of Die Hard 2, the aquatic claustrophobia of Deep Blue Sea, but here, taking on the mantle of The Strangers, he attempted to stretch a premise of random nihilistic violence into a three-part epic mythology. Written by Alan R. Cohen and Alan Friedland, this was supposed to be the crescendo, the magnum opus of home invasion horror. But does it sing, or does it merely scream into the void? If you have not seen The Strangers Chapter 1 or Chapter 2, then turn off the radio, walk away. There is absolutely no point in even starting this movie because this is the finishing move in a fight scene that has been dragging on for hours. You will not understand how great, and I use that term loosely, the fight was if you only see the knockout punch. If you have not tuned into my previous broadcast, my real review for The Strangers Chapter 2, you are doing yourself a disservice. You need the context, you need the history. Let us remember our roots. The Strangers. Chapter 1 was a remake of the 2008 classic starring Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler. That film was lightning in a bottle. It is the one that got me into this whole series to begin with. The original is way better than the remake. But we are here for Chapter 3, starring Gabrielle Basso portraying the unhinged Gregory and Hannah Galway portraying the resilient yet doomed Maya. The film opens, and I have to give credit where credit is due. The auditory landscape is immediately painted with Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues. This is one of those songs. You have heard it in a million movies. It is part of the cultural furniture. I actually really love this song. It fits the vibe of this movie perfectly. It is a very dark, creepy, and, dare I say, strange song. The country-sounding guitar riffs underscore the isolation of this small country town, which serves as our purgatorial backdrop. Picture this. The movie starts with a car driving to a motel. A woman walks into the lobby. She approaches the front desk, rings the bell. Silence. Nobody answers. The isolation is palpable. Just as she turns to leave, a woman in uniform appears to sell her a room. She hands over the key to room 24. As the guest walks away, the attendant says, "I will see you soon." That line is foreshadowing with a sledgehammer. We cut to nighttime. The woman is in her motel room texting, oblivious to the predator ecosystem she has entered. She hears a light knock. She dismisses it. But then a woman's voice asking, "Is Tamara home?" She says no. Wrong room, then a loud knocking, aggressive. The voice repeats the exact same question. The victim gets up. She walks to the door, peers through the peephole, nothing but the void of the hallway. She opens the door, empty. She goes back inside, retreats to the sanctuary of the bathroom to splash water on her face. Here is where the tension breaks. The door behind her is slowly unlocked. She cannot hear the tumbler clicking because the faucet is running. She turns to her right and boom, a woman with a mask. The scream cuts the air. She wakes up underground, tied to a chair, the masked woman looming over her. The victim begs, asks why she was taken. The answer? Silence, confusion. The woman in the mask stabs her. When I was watching this, I automatically assumed the woman in the mask was the motel attendant. It seemed too obvious. Then the two killers from Strangers Chapter 2, the lovers, the ones who kiss with their masks on, appear behind the victim. When I saw this intro, all I kept thinking was, they could have given us a way better intro than this. It felt procedural. It felt like checking a box. Then the screen goes black. The dictionary definition of the word serial killer is plastered over the screen. Noun, A person who has committed 2 or more murders following a characteristic behavior pattern involving victims that are usually strangers. The text is stark white, clinical, but then the definition highlights in red. It turns crimson. I personally think that is great. The red signifies the blood that is about to spill. It is a great way to set the academic tone of violence. I just wish the visual intro matched this level of style. This was the bare minimum you could do for the 3rd movie of a trilogy. After the title card, we pick up exactly where chapter 2 left off. Maya is in the woods staring down the 2 remaining killers right after she killed the 3rd one, the pinup girl. The male killer, Scarecrow, immediately takes his axe and starts chopping up the body of the woman Maya just killed. Let us pause on that. This is his partner, his lover, and he is hacking her to pieces. This is what I mean about the serial killers being very strange in this movie. First they kiss with masks on, and now he is turning the love of his life into ground beef. He picks up her remains, puts them in the vehicle, and drives off. No ceremony, just disposal. Maya is left limping, blood painting her face down a dark, lonely road. She sees a cop car, hides, and eventually finds sanctuary in a church. She enters the church, she sits at a piano, and who walks in? Gregory. He says, "You still alive, huh?" Gregory and Maya have had this cat and mouse dynamic since chapter 2. He walks up, grabs a bottle of alcohol off the piano and pours 2 shots. He tells her to relax. Nobody has a mask here. He pours a shot for the dead. He tells Maya the shot is for him, meaning Ryan, her boyfriend killed in chapter 1. Maya takes the shot. She looks at this man, this monster in human skin, and asks, "You killed your friends?" He replies, "Yeah, but I will make new ones." She asks, "How long were you together?" He says, "Since the beginning, since we were kids." This exposition is clumsy. It is a very strange way to confirm he is the killer, as if we did not know. He asks her, "Why do you think God let Cain kill Abel?" She says, "I do not know." Gregory replies, "I do not know either. Maybe he just wanted to watch." That line chills the bone. It suggests a universe where God is a voyeur of violence. Maya flees the church, running for her life. She runs right into the creepy sheriff from chapter 2. He picks her up. He says, "You look like you have been through hell." She begs him to take her to her sister. He agrees, but says there is no cell service. The tension in this car is thick enough to choke on. Maya asks for a first aid kit. The sheriff stops, gets out to check the trunk. Maya, smart girl, jumps in the driver's seat and floors it. But in her panic, checking the back seat, taking her eyes off the road, she sees headlights. A horn blows, she swerves, she crashes into a tree. Enter Scarecrow. He rips her from the wreckage, drags her screaming, and throws her in the bed of his truck. Here is the visual poetry of horror. As she lies there, she looks over and sees the severed head of the woman she killed, the pinup girl, face to face, the dead staring at the soon-to-be dead. We then get a flashback. We see the sheriff back when he was just a cop in court. His son, a 7-year-old boy, has committed a heinous crime. The judge releases the boy to the father. We cut to the woods. The boy, young Gregory, slams an axe into a man's chest. A little girl watches. She says, "You got your first one." The father, the sheriff, arrives. He sees the carnage. He hugs his son. He says, "I pray this will never happen again." But then he admits, "Somehow I knew it would." He makes a pact with the children. No more killing people from the town. Back to the present. The killers take Maya to their hideaway. Scarecrow puts his hand on the face of his dead girlfriend's corpse, one last caress before tossing her into a disintegrator, a machine that grinds bone and flesh, spit and blood into the woods. Then Scarecrow picks up the axe. We get a point of view shot from Maya's perspective. The axe swings down. Whack. I sat in the theater thinking, did they just kill the protagonist 30 minutes in? It is a shocker. What is the rest of the movie going to be? We cut to the next day, the diner. The sheriff is drinking coffee. Maya's sister walks in with her husband and a bodyguard. They show a picture of Maya. The town is silent, complicit. A waitress tries to speak up, but fear silences her. The sister pleads, but the town is a tomb of secrets. Meanwhile, Maya wakes up. She is not dead. She is being tattooed. Scarecrow is inking the same smiley face tattoo onto her that his dead girlfriend had. She is the replacement. She is being groomed to fill the void. The grooming continues. Scarecrow tries to kiss her with the mask on. She fights. Later, they take her on a date of sorts. To the same motel from the intro, room 24. They find a couple. They tie them up. Scarecrow forces Maya to hold the axe. He wants her to kill. He wants to birth a monster. Maya refuses. Scarecrow butchers the man. In the chaos, Maya grabs a machete and kills the new third killer, the replacement girl. She bashes her head against the floor until it breaks. Scarecrow watches. He is not angry. He is fascinated. He forces Maya's hand to stab the bound woman. He whispers, "It felt good, did it not?" The finale takes us to the old sawmill. The sheriff leads Maya's sister and her husband there, claiming he is helping. It is a trap. The bodyguard, Marcus, finds the disintegrator filled with human mulch. The sheriff shoots him dead, cold. Scarecrow arrives with Maya. He rams the truck into the RV where the sister and husband are hiding. It is a slaughter. Scarecrow kills the husband. Then he drags the sister out and guts her right in front of Maya. Maya breaks. But she does not just break down, she breaks bad. She drives away, passes the "Don't be a stranger" sign, and stops. She turns around. She goes back. She goes underground. She finds the sheriff drinking a beer, listening to the radio, oblivious to his fate. She blasts him with a shotgun. She walks to the end of the tunnel, a shrine to the dead girlfriend. Gregory is there, unmasked. He says, "There is only pain in you now." She says, "There is nothing in me now." He says, "I freed you." See the pyramids along the Nile. The song plays. They embrace. It is a twisted romance. And then Schlunk. She sticks a machete in his chest. He falls, bleeding, smiling. He says, "We are the same now." She replies, "Maybe." She walks off holding the mask. The transformation is complete. The victim has become the stranger. Let us strip away the blood and the guts and look at the soul of this picture. The only thing I really liked about this movie is the music chosen for the scenes and the fact that they finally wrapped the trilogy up. This movie is terrible. It was basically a waste of time to even watch. The only reason you would watch this movie is just to see how it ends. Here's the tragedy. They could have compressed this entire 90-minute runtime into 30 minutes and thrown it at the end of Strangers Chapter 2. It felt like a waste of celluloid. This movie messed up the whole trilogy for me. It felt like a contractual obligation. This film represents a sickness in modern storytelling, the need to over-explain. The original Strangers was terrifying because of its randomness, because you were home. That was the reason. It was nihilistic. It was terrifying because it could happen to anyone. By giving Gregory a backstory, a daddy issue, a childhood trauma, they stripped him of his power, they made him human, and humans are boring. We do not want to understand the monster, we want to fear the monster. This film tries to explore the cycle of violence, how trauma begets trauma, how Maya becomes the killer, but it does so with the subtlety of a car crash. It is a hollow philosophy. I highly recommend the original Strangers from 2008. That is the film that got me interested. And I highly recommend The Strangers, Pray at Night. For me, that is the best Strangers movie. It had style, it had neon, it had a killer soundtrack, and it did not try to be a Greek tragedy. You can skip this new remake trilogy. It is a monument to wasted potential. I obsess over the details so you do not have to. Let us look closer at the things you might have missed. First, let us talk about the costume design. Did you notice the degradation of the masks? In Chapter 1, they were pristine. In Chapter 3, they are weathered, dirty. Look specifically at the doll face mask Maya holds at the end. It is cracked in a way that mirrors the mental fracture of the character. The crack runs down the left side, mirroring the scar Maya received in the opening act. It is a visual externalization of her internal ruin. Let us talk about room 24. In numerology, the number 24 is often associated with family and harmony. The irony here is crushing. Every time room 24 appears, it is the site of family destruction. The intro murder, room 24, the flashback murder of the parents, Room 24, the forced murder of the couple. Room 24. It is the number of domestic bliss turned into domestic slaughter. And a subtle acting choice by Gabriel Basso as Gregory. Watch his hands. Whenever he is Gregory, the charming guy at the piano, his hands are loose, expressive. But the moment he puts on the scarecrow persona, or even when he talks about killing, his hands stiffen. He clenches them. It is a physical tic that shows the duality of the man. Also, the lighting, the cinematographer creates a stark contrast. The town of Venus, Oregon, is always bathed in a sickly yellow tungsten light. The diner, the motel, it feels diseased, but the woods are shot in cold, hard blues and blacks. The only time the two light sources merge is in the underground tunnel at the end, the yellow of the candles mixing with the blue of the moonlight filtering in. It represents the merging of the town's complicity and the killer's brutality. One blink and you miss it moment. In the sheriff's office, there is a framed photo on the wall behind him. It is a photo of the woods, just trees. A man whose only loyalty is to the killing ground hangs a picture of random trees in his office. It is a subtle hint that the sheriff belongs to the forest, not the law. We have arrived at the judgment. The scales must be balanced. This film has excellent music, the Moody Blues, the Duprees, impeccable taste in oldies. The cinematography has moments of grim beauty, but the pacing, atrocious, the plot, contrived, the necessity of its existence, zero. It takes the mystery of the strangers and explains it to death, literally and figuratively. It creates a backstory nobody wanted and an ending that feels unearned. For the Strangers. Chapter 3, I am giving this a popcorn bucket score of 1 out of 5, a single, lonely bucket. And that bucket is filled with stale, unbuttered popcorn that has been sitting under a heat lamp for 3 movies too long. When you compare this to Pray at Night, which is a solid 4 out of 5, or the original 2008 film, a classic 5 out of 5, this film is an embarrassment to the franchise. It is the finishing movie in a fight scene where the audience got knocked out by boredom long before the final punch was thrown. The reel stops spinning, the lights come up in the theater, and we are left with nothing but the sticky floor and the regret of time lost. Thank you for tuning in to The Real Review. I have been your host, Warbucks. If you are driving through small towns tonight, keep your doors locked. If someone knocks and asks for Tamara, do not answer. Sometimes it is okay to let the mystery be. Not every question needs an answer. Not every monster needs a motive. Until next time, keep your radio loud, your taste refined, and your eyes on the shadows. This is Damn Good Radio. Signing off.